right. Thank you, and thank you, everyone. Welcome to the Calvin Dean Show. And my name is Calvin Dean. It's going to be a fun show. I go through all divisions and predict what they will do. And this is such a fun time of the season. I mean, I just really get into this. I look at every single team, what that team should do, and it's so interesting this year. It's just so interesting because, I mean, one of these teams are going to break out, right? And this next division is the NFC West, people. Yes, the NFC West with Nikki's Niners. Alrighty then, yeah. And Austin's too, and there's a lot of other Niner fans out there. And this is such a good, great division. Great division. Yeah, I mean, worth the applause, guys, because I'm going to tell you how each team's going to do in their record, all right? But there's going to be a surprise. Yes, a surprise. Yeah. The surprise is we'll have to wait, because let's just get ready, people, because in this division, I'm predicting someone is going to win the MVP of the league. Yes, the MVP will come from this division. You heard it here from the Calvin Dean Show. Now, last year, I predicted the Baltimore Ravens, would go 13-4, and the San Francisco 49ers will go 12-5. Oh, now wait a minute here. Ready? And I also predicted that Lamar Jackson would win the MVP this season. Yeah, I predicted that, guys. I predicted that. And it's just something I do. I can just see stuff. But I'm telling you this right now. The NFC West 2024 schedule. Let's just get at it, all right? Let's look at the Los Angeles Rams, their schedule. It's going to be an interesting one, mind you. The Rams, you got to watch out for the Rams, guys. You got to watch out for Rams. I mean, Matthew Stafford is going to be at full strength. I mean, seriously, guys, this is an exciting time of season where you can predict all this stuff, you know what I mean? Now, let's just get over it. Let's get right down to it. The Los Angeles Rams. Now, think about this. Matthew Stafford is over being hurt. He's 36 years old. He's in his prime, right near the end of his career. And, these guys are going until 40, right? 41. The players are playing longer now because, fitness level has changed. I mean, the fitness, the PT, and all the physical therapy, and all the trainers that these guys have. I mean, these are billion-dollar teams. Each team's billions, guys. Think about that. So if there's billions and billions and billions of dollars, they're taking care of these players. I mean, they're just making sure that they're big, strong. They are trying not to get them hurt. And this Los Angeles Ram team, guys, is just, wow. I mean, The unfortunate part about the Rams, they play the Detroit Lions their first game of the season. It's the Sunday night football game, and I mean, that's going to be an interesting game, guys. It's going to be an interesting game because why? It's in Detroit. And guess what? Matthew Stafford used to play in Detroit, guys. Yeah, he knows the stadium, and, he knows the team. And there's going to be a lot of Stafford fans coming to this game from Detroit. Trust me, there will be. And, this could be like the upset of the century if the Rams came into Detroit and beat the Detroit Lions. Wow, wouldn't that be amazing? Wouldn't that be amazing? And then their second game. The second game is the Arizona Cardinals. Huh. Well, they could be 1-1 or 2-0. They could be. But the next game is the San Francisco 49ers. Wow, and it's a Sunday game, and it's at home. It's at home in Los Angeles. All the Niners do they're just driving down the coast, enjoying the surf and the summer bride. I mean, summer really starts in Los Angeles like August, September, October. I mean, you still get that heat. And it's just amazing. And, San Francisco's used to that. So, I mean, San Francisco, unfortunately, they're going to lose that one. And then they play in Chicago after they play San Francisco. Unfortunately, wow. I mean, what I'm trying to get at is this, all right? The majority of the time when any team plays San Francisco, because they play so hard, and then their offense is like so hard to defense because they have so many weapons, and just teams are just exhausted playing them. So they go, and then they have to fly to Chicago and play, yes, Mr. USC Trojan himself, the number one pick. Oh my. But it's doomsday for the Rams on this one too, because the majority of the time, any team that plays San Francisco, the majority, guys, check the record books in the last 2 years. I know that was this year, it was the year before. I know that when San Francisco, they went the whole year. I mean, the whole year was just amazing. When any team played San Francisco, that team lost the next game. So, and that was like that throughout the whole season. So, and they're tough. So I think the Rams will lose in Chicago. And then they have to fly home, and then they have to play the Green Bay Packers. And then they have their bye, and then they open up at home with the Las Vegas Raiders, and they're at home again with the Minnesota Vikings. And then the Seattle Seahawks. Their schedule is kind of. I think their schedule really gives Los Angeles a really good chance to make the playoffs. I really do. I mean, Detroit, they're most likely going to lose that game. Okay, so in Detroit. And then Arizona, they're going to bounce back and beat Arizona. Watch out for Arizona. I'll get into that. Then you have San Francisco, and they're going to lose. And then they're going to lose to the Bears, because usually teams that play San Francisco already went over this, will lose the next game. So they're going to lose. And then they're going to play the Packers. That's a tough game at home. I think they could win that game. And then the Raiders at home, I think they could win that game. And then think about it. Gardner Minshew as a quarterback against Matthew Stafford. and then all of his great assets. Sorry, uh, your Raiders are going to lose, and then Minnesota, they'll win that one. Literally Seahawks in Seattle. They could win that one. Miami then at home, they could probably lose. It's at home. Miami likes the warm weather. I would just maybe win or lose that one. That's up to grabs. It matters how they're going up until that point of the season. But then they have the Patriots. That's a win. They have to go, and then they come all the way back home the next game and play the Philadelphia Eagles. That might be a tough game for them. Then they play in in New Orleans the 13th week. 14th week they're playing the Bills at home, and then the last few weeks for the Rams are going to be a tough one. They play the Bills at home, then they go up north the next Thursday. Okay, so check this out. They play on a Sunday in the afternoon, and then they play the next week. They play Thursday night football in San Francisco. Ooh, wow. And then they have to fly from San Francisco to New York and play the Jets week 16. Ooh, that just literally 13. Let's just consider week 12, the Eagles, and then New Orleans. Okay, they beat New Orleans, right? And they play the Bills, they lose. And then they play San Francisco, they lose. Play the Jets, they lose. Then they beat then week 17, they play the Cardinals, they win. And week 18, it's like a winner or not get in, and they beat the Seattle Seahawks at home because their last actual 2 games are at home. So, I think definitely they're going to be improved. I think that the Los Angeles Rams will go 9-8 for the season. 9-8. All right. Well, it's a winning season. I think they might even get into the playoffs. They could. It's an iffy. If they go 10-7, yes, they'll get into playoffs. But they're gonna have to win another game. I don't know which one. They could surprise. I don't think they're going to surprise San Francisco. They could surprise Chicago. They could win that game right after San Francisco. They could beat Green Bay, and then they're on a tear. Green Bay. Even if they beat the Bears, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 straight games that they win. And then they played Miami. Okay, I'll give that to Miami. So in all reality, they really could. The Los Angeles Rams really could get to 10-7. In all reality, they really could. They could even have a better year. This is a dangerous team, guys. This is a very dangerous team this year. Well, and let's go to Seattle. And so Seattle, it's an iffy. I'm not bought on their quarterbacks. I'm just not. I don't know. I don't think they'll bring them to the promised land. I think they need a Michael Penix. Yeah, Atlanta. So let's just get into it. Their first game is the Denver Broncos at home. 12th man. Denver, they're going to come in and play hard-nosed football. Peyton always does that. They shored up their defense. And the only thing is with Denver, it's questionable how the quarterbacks are going to handle themselves and who's going to be starting. Is it a rookie? Is it Wilson? What an ugly situation that is. I don't know, guys. I'm not I'm not a fan of any of those quarterbacks. I'm sorry, but maybe I don't know. Bo Nix. I mean, he could surprise everyone, you know, but that's the whole thing. You know what I mean? So we're back to having question marks for the quarterback. And the thing of it is that what I don't get is that why doesn't management see this as a flaw in the coach? Because I think I really do. I think it's time for him to retire. I really do. Yeah. Sean Payton. Oh, wow. I mean, he's got that thing, man, and I just don't think he's really, into the new age players, and he's so old school, and I think that's why Belichick left as well. Belichick couldn't handle it, Hey, look at, the Alabama coach, he felt that way. The whole thing was changing. He didn't like the way sports was changing in football. And, well, anyway, we get back to, the Seattle Seahawks, their first game, like I said, at home, Denver Broncos. That's a W. And then you got the New England Patriots. That's a W. They're going into New England. Then you come back home, you play the Dolphins. That's going to be a tough one, man. That's going to be a really, really, really tough one, and then you have to go to Detroit and play Detroit that next Monday night, Wow. That's a loss. Those 2 losses in a row. And then you got the Giants. You don't know how the Giants are going to... I mean, they could win a few. I don't have them really going really well. I mean, the Giants, I don't have them, I have them 5-12. So, and then you you don't know about the Giants, but then you play San Francisco 49ers at home, that's a loss. And then you have to go to Atlanta in week 7, and I'm telling you, Cousins is going to be smoking by now, at home. You're going to lose. And then you go to Buffalo, you're going to lose. Then you go to the Rams, or you go home and play the Buffalo Bills, and home the Los Angeles Rams, and then you have to play the San Francisco 49ers. Wow. And week 12, you're playing the Arizona Cardinals at home, and then you have to go all the way to the New York Jets the next week, and then you have to go from there to Arizona, week 14, right? And then back home against the Green Bay Packers. Wow. And then you play Minnesota, but then week 17, you're playing the Chicago Bears, and they need to win to get in. I mean, they do. They really do. And Caleb Williams, Mr. USC himself, I mean, he's going to be balling this game. You're going to lose, And then you go from the Bears losing, and then you come into the Los Angeles Rams week 18, and it's do or die, man. This is it. Either you win and get into the playoffs, or you lose and get into the playoffs. It's up to Seattle. It's up to Seattle. I think Seattle has a really tough schedule. I could be wrong on this prediction. I don't think I am. I see them only winning 7 or 8 games, either 7-10 or 8-9. I see them having a losing season. I really do. Sorry, Seattle fans. Sorry. I just don't. The schedule is just not it's not kind to you. It's just not kind to you. So, anyway, let's get on to it. Let's get on to the next team. Now, I told you guys I was going to predict someone who I think will win the MVP of the league. And I really believe it's going to be Kyler Murray. I just do. I think second year off of ACL surgery, you always do much better. Always do much better. First year, no, you never do that. I know he tore his ACL later in the season. I understand all that. I know that. But usually when ACL injuries, like Saquon Barkley, he came off the ACL injury that 1 year, and he was a shell of himself. And then the second year he came off of it, and he was just balling. And then he gets traded to the Philadelphia Eagles. I have no clue why they did something like that. Man, I just don't understand these trades. These GMs and these owners are paying these GMs to make these kind of deals. I'm sorry, guys. Come on. You're in your own division, and you trade your best player to the front runner of your division. Wow. Oof. Wow. Anyway, well, the Arizona Cardinals, first game, week 1, the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo. Wow. This is gonna be a fun game to watch, guys. I think it's gonna be closer than everyone thinks it's gonna be. I think Josh Allen is, he's going to be, these first games for Josh this year, it's going to be challenging. It's going to be how Mahomes, they won ugly last year, and he took them to the Super Bowl and he won, right, with a team he'd struggled with. Like, the drops were just amazing. You look at the passer rating for Mahomes, and Brock Purdy blew him away in passer rating, in yards, touchdowns, percentages, everything. Think about it. And everyone bags on Brock Purdy. I just don't see that, man. I don't understand that. I just don't understand that. Because he's all that, and then some. Brock is, that's for sure. And so, week 1, you go into the Buffalo Bills, and I think it's going to be a shootout. And I think at the end, the Bills are going to triumph in this one. It's going to be it's going to be a fun game to watch. Some of it's going to be ugly. It's for the Bills. I think they're going to be down and then they're going to come back in this game. But it's an iffy game. I mean, the Bills, you don't know how they're going to play. I mean, think about it. Get rid of Gabe Davis and Stephon Diggs. I don't know, guys. So it's an either-or, and then they're at home, mind you, against the Los Angeles Rams. So that's going to be an interesting game, too. Stafford, and then they at home against the Detroit Lions. Loss, and then they're at home against the Commanders. And you don't know. I mean, Jaden Daniels, man, guys, have you seen? Just look up Jaden Daniels. Type it in YouTube after the show, and type in Jaden Daniels highlights, and watch this kid. He's the real deal. He's the next gen RG3, man. Next gen RG3 comes to the Commanders in town. Jaden Daniels. Wow. That could be a loss right there. And then they have to go to San Francisco. And then they have to go to Green Bay. And then they come to back home to the Chargers. Oh, my God. Jim Harbaugh is going to be on fire then. And then they have to go to week 8. They have to fly to Miami. And then back home against Chicago. Home against the New York Jets. and then their bye week's week 11. They come out of their bye. They play the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle, mind you, in Seattle. And and then they're still on the road. They go to the Minnesota Vikings, right? And then they come all the way back home, right? From Minnesota, all the way back home to Arizona. And they they win, and against the Seattle Seahawks. So they play at Seattle, and then they play at Minnesota, and then they come back and play Seattle again at home. Then they play the New England Patriots at home and the Panthers at home. So those 3 games, they could, I think they're going to come out of those 3 games 3-0. Seattle, New England, and Carolina. And that's where, but then the next game is in Los Angeles against the Rams. The Rams are going to need the win to get in, and, definitely, Rams. And then they're playing the San Francisco 49ers week 18. They could win this game because I can guarantee you that the Niners won't need to be playing their guys week 18. And they're going to be sitting everyone out. And, Kyler will need to win to get in type of season. And I'm giving them an 8-9 season for the Arizona Cardinals. I think 8-9 suits them well. They could go 9-8. They could end up 9-8. It matters how Kyler Murray comes out of, but I think he's going to have one hell of a year. I really do think he's going to have a great year. And I think he's going to win the MVP. I predicted Lamar Jackson last year that he would win. And this year, this is going to dark horse. Really, seriously, guys, this is a long shot, And man, I really think that Kyler Murray. You heard it from Calvin Dean Show on July 6th, 2024, that he's predicting right now, right this instant, guys, right now. Ready? Kyler Murray will win the MVP of 2024 season. I love it. I really do think that's going to happen. I really do. That's just, wow. Okay, last but not least, we have the San Francisco 49ers. And guys, it's going to be one great season for the Niners. One incredibly great season. They play at home Monday Night Football. First week of the season, they play at home against the New York Jets with Mr. Rodgers and the Jets defense. It's going to be exciting. Jets defense, San Francisco's defense. You better watch out. They have Floyd and they have Bosa. I mean, he had 10.5 sacks last year, and Bosa had 10.5 sacks. And they know they're going to have to. Who do we double? Who do we double team? It's going to be great. I mean, San Francisco looks really good in defense. Great defense. And then their offense. Oh, I mean, just, guys, think about it. Ricky, getting Ricky in the first round. And, man, it's just, guys, The kid from Iowa State, 4.33, the running back. Wow. I mean, I'm just, their team is just explosive, and they have all the weapons. It's so hard. It's going to be very hard for the Jets to beat them at home, and they're not going to. And then they fly to Minnesota after playing the New York Jets. They beat them. Then they go to Los Angeles. They beat them. Then they're home at the Patriots. They'll beat them. Kyler Murray, they'll beat them. Seattle, they'll beat them. Week 7, they play the Kansas City Chiefs. They'll beat them. And then they go to Dallas, and they'll beat them. And no, they're at home against the Kansas City Chiefs, at home against the Dallas Cowboys. They'll beat back-to-back wins against great teams. And then, they have their week after they beat Dallas, and there's their bye week is number 9. Guys, fantasy football lovers, think about it. If you're into fantasy football, Christian McCaffrey, one of the, he'll be the number one person to come off every single board in all the leagues. So, and because this whole team is just stacked with players, just stacked. And so they come out of the bye and they go to Tampa Bay and play the Tampa Bay Bucks, which is awesome. It's warm weather. They love that stuff. And then they come back home and play the Seattle Seahawks. And then they go to Green Bay and play Green Bay. And they're still on the road and going to Buffalo, playing Buffalo, right? On a Sunday night football game, December 1st. Could be snow by then, but I doubt it. Could be. I mean, it's December 1st, right? This is when, it gets interesting. All these teams, it's usually, Thanksgiving, right after it starts snowing back east and stuff, but not bad. December 1st, not that bad. And they're in Buffalo. And then they come home and play the Bears. They're at home again and play the Rams, and then they go to Miami. This is going to be the test. It's on a Sunday afternoon at 1:25. I mean, it's right before Christmas, and then the 17th. It's on the 22nd, the Sunday, and then the next game is Week 17, and that's 12:30. And that's at the. It's going to be the Monday night football game, the last Monday night football game, and then the last week is Week 18, and it's to be denounced. Excuse me, because usually the last games they don't know when they're going to be and how, because it's during the holiday season, but it'll be in Arizona. This could be the year, guys. This could be the year. Hold on to your seats. This could be the year that you see an undefeated team. Guys, I think they're this good. I really do. I think the San Francisco 49ers are so scary. Their defense got better. Their offense is just, wow. More weapons for Kyle Shanahan to use. Oh my. I mean, I'm blown away. Seriously, guys. The Jets, they play Minnesota, then they play the Rams, New England, Arizona, Seattle, Kansas City, Cowboys, Tampa, Seattle again, Green Bay, Buffalo, Chicago, Los Angeles again, Miami, Detroit, and the Cards. Wow. I have them going. Guys, I have them going like 13-4. I mean, this team could go 17-0. I'm telling you right now, the San Francisco 49ers could. This is their season. They keep Ayuk, they keep Ricky, that defense got better. I mean, it's just, wow. And Brock is going to play out of his mind. Played out of his mind last year. His numbers were just outstanding. I thought he was one of the best quarterbacks in the league last year. I really do. 113 passer rating. Come on. Yeah. The next person behind him in passer rating was Dak Prescott at 105. And Tua was 101. So Tua threw the most yards as well. But, the highest passer percentage went to Brock Purdy. So, I mean, stat-wise, it's just, you just have to know your stuff, guys. I mean, and in yards per attempt, each all the top guys. I mean, Tua, Goff, Prescott, Allen, Brock Purdy, Patrick Mahomes, Jordan Love. I'll add C.J. Stroud to it. I'll even add Mr. Matthew Stafford or Lamar Jackson. Why don't we do that? Okay, ready? Yards per attempt. Brock Purdy 9.6. No one near him. The closest one is C.J. Stroud 8.2. Tua 8.3. But that's it. There's no one in the nines. Lamar Jackson was 8. He's the next one. C.J. Stroud was 8.2. So there you go. And then you go to completion percentages, the completions, right? Brock Purdy's 69.4. And all the great ones like Tua 69.3. Dak Prescott 69.5. Josh Allen was 66. Mahomes was 67. Brock Purdy beat him then. I mean, Brock had 31 touchdowns. 31 touchdowns he threw for. The only person that didn't beat him was Dak Prescott with 36 touchdowns. Dak had 9 interceptions. Brock had 11. Wow. Passer rating 113. Dak 105. But which quarterback brought him to the Super Bowl? Brock Purdy. Guys, it's stats don't lie. You can talk to me till you're blue in the face, but I'm looking at stats right now. They don't lie. They tell you who's great, who's really great. I was listening to the NFL Network, and they were going, I think top 4 quarterbacks, Mahomes, Allen, Burrows, and I'm just going, Burrows. And I mean, Brock Purdy wasn't even mentioned in the top 4. And I was like, wow, these guys, they're blind. They're blind, Think about it. I think they're blind. Big time. You had to give it to Tua. You had to give, he was number 1. He had a passer rating at 101. I mean, that was great. 29 touchdowns and 14 interceptions. Josh Allen, 18 interceptions, 29 touchdowns. That was the one point that Buffalo, those interceptions with Josh. It's just, I don't know. Passer rating was 92.2. Hey, Mahomes was 92.6. Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, the same passer rating. Almost the same, And Mahomes wasn't even better. 27 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. His average per attempt, Mahomes 7. Josh Allen 7.4. But once again, Brock Purdy 9.6. There's reasons why I pick things. You know, I just don't pick stuff out of the air, and I don't know anything about anything. You know, I know teams, and I know how, you know, teams are built. You know, I was talking about this the other day, and I said, you know, one of my friends, I was talking to him, I said, you know, you think about it, each team, you know, they always, the question, there was a question, you know, these players, they're not like they used to be because, you know, they're taken care of really well. You know, they have, I mean, think about it. They got trainers. They got medical staff. You're poked, you're prodded. You know, you get off of, you know, out of the practice. They put ice on you. They carry, you know, they know exactly every single ailment that you have on your body. Whatever hurts, they try to make it better. You know, if there's an exercise or cold, hot, you know, massages, stretches, you know, they're all over this. Proper protein, you know, proper everything, you know, and then you know, the stretching coaches, physical therapy coaches. I mean, just, it goes on. And they're like, nah, they don't. I go, think about it. They're paying these players, the top players, you know, Trevor Lawrence. Look at that. $55 million a year. Top paid NFL quarterback. Top paid, period. Any person in the NFL. Top paid. Trevor Lawrence. You know, it's just, it's out of hand. But what I'm trying to get at is that these guys who are like this, these guys who I'm talking about are the owners. The owners. They're billionaires, man. These clubs are worth billions. Billions and billions. Plural, guys. Plural. Many. So if they're paying a quarterback like like anyone, Burrows, or, you know, or Trevor Lawrence, or Dak Prescott, anyone like that, you know, they're going to make sure that player is definitely taken care of in every way, shape, or form, right? All the physical attributes, all the nutrition, all that. That's why I go, wow, look at the locker room, Dallas Cowboys. You ever see? There's this. I think I have it in my shorts, and there was this drone, and it went through Dallas Cowboys Stadium, with a practice field, and it was just amazing, guys. It was amazing. I mean, wow. Just, you know, Google it, or just on YouTube, just type in drone, you know, in Dallas Cowboys practice field called the Star, and it's just amazing. I mean, these locker rooms are out of this world, you know. I mean, the money that these owners pour into, they pour into it because it's their investment. You know, if these guys perform in a great, you know, echelon, you know, then, you know, those owners make more money, you know, and they get the prime time tickets where, you know, they're on prime time. You know, think about it. You know, the San Francisco 49ers, you know, their first game is on Monday Night Football. It's the first Monday Night Football game of the season, and the last game. Think about it. The last game, guys, of the first week of this season. You know, think about that. The millions and millions of dollars these two teams are spending, you know, to win this game. You know, it's just, you know, the talent level is just extreme. And, you know, that's why I think it's so exciting now to watch the football, because these players that are coming out of college, they're just, wow. It's like one wow after another. Xavier Worthy, 4.21, you know, it's just, I could go on and on, you know. Linebackers, going 4-4. I mean, come on. It's just wow. It's out of this world. Out of this world. And so, I mean, that's it, guys. I have the San Francisco 49ers going 13-4. They could go 17-0. They could. I think this is their year. I think this is their year. And then the Rams, 9-8. And I have the Arizona Cardinals going 8-9. Or 9-8. They could go 9-8. I have the Seattle Seahawks going in 7-10. They could go 8-9. And I have the San Francisco 49ers is going to be the number 1 seed in the league, and that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I'm just wow, and good luck to everyone. Good luck to everyone. I will see you guys next week, and we'll dissect the AFC. Yes. And see you next week, guys. Thank you for listening.